The viral prankster I ticketed for public nuisance made a fake video to destroy my life, so I exposed his crimes and watched his fame fade. It was one of those perfect Seattle spring days that make you forget about the endless rain we usually get. Sun shining, birds chirping, and I was cruising through Volunteer Park in my patrol car, windows down, sipping on my gas station coffee that honestly tasted like someone had filtered it through a sweaty sock. I'd been on the force for 6 years by then, and let me tell you, I thought I'd seen it all. Drunk college kids, skinny dipping in the fountain, tourists trying to climb the water tower, you name it. But this day was going to be different. I spotted this massive crowd blocking the main walking path near the Asian Art Museum. Like, we're talking at least 50 people huddled around a bright blue Jeep Wrangler with those ridiculous oversized tires that scream, "I'm compensating for something." The Jeep was literally parked right across the walkway, blocking everyone's path. As I rolled up, I could hear someone shouting through a megaphone. Great, another wannabe influencer. I parked my cruiser and made my way through the crowd, getting those familiar side eyes people give cops when we show up to their good time. That's when I saw him. This dude in a neon yellow Supreme hoodie, designer ripped jeans, and those super expensive Jordans that cost more than my monthly rent. He had this sleeve tattoo of what looked like Japanese characters mixed with flames going up his right arm. The guy was standing on top of his Jeep's hood, megaphone in one hand, iPhone on a gimbal in the other, while his buddy filmed the whole thing with a professional camera. "Yo, what's up, Prank Nation? It's your boy Tyler Toxic here with another banger," he shouted, while the crowd cheered like he was Drake or something. Today we're seeing how people react when they try to walk through the park and find their path blocked by a mystery box. The mystery box was actually a giant container sitting in the middle of the path with a sign that read, "Open for $1,000 cash." People were lining up to try opening it, only to get blasted with this nasty-smelling liquid when they touched the handle. Classic jerk move. I sighed, put on my game face, and approached the scene. "Seattle PD, I need everyone to clear the walkway, please." The guy, Tyler, apparently, swung his camera toward me and his face lit up like he'd just won the EC lottery. "Prank Nation, we got the boys in blue here, perfect timing." I kept it professional. "Sir, you're blocking a public pathway and causing a disturbance. I need you to move your vehicle immediately." "Oh, hear that? Officer Buzzkill is here." He jumped down from his Jeep and got all up in my face with his camera. "Don't you know who I am? I'm Tyler Toxic. 10 million followers, baby. This is content gold." "I don't care if you're the Queen of England, sir. You need a permit for organized events in the park, and you can't block the walkway. I'm going to have to write you a citation." His smirk dropped faster than Spotify stock after Joe Rogan says something stupid. "Are you for real right now? Do you know how much money I make per video?" He turned to his audience. "Everyone check this out. This cop is trying to shut down your entertainment." Some of the crowd started booing at me. Great, just what I needed. I pulled out my citation book. "License and registration, please." This is harassment. He was playing it up big time for the camera. "I'm exercising my First Amendment rights." "Your First Amendment rights don't include blocking public access ways or creating safety hazards," I said, keeping my cool. "License and registration, or we can discuss this further at the station." Muttering under his breath, he pulled out his wallet and handed over his license. Tyler Reed, 26, from Bellevue. Of course he was from Bellevue. While I wrote the citation for public nuisance and illegal obstruction of a public throughway, Tyler kept his camera trained on me, narrating the whole thing like it was a nature documentary about cops in the wild. "Look at this, Prank Nation. This is what happens when the establishment tries to crush creativity. This cop is literally killing my vibe right now." I handed him the citation. "Sign here, please. This is not an admission of guilt, just acknowledgement that you've received the citation." He signed it with a dramatic flourish, then looked dead at me. "You know what, officer? Baker?" He read off my name tag. "You just made a huge mistake. I'm gonna make you internet famous, but not in the way you want." I'd heard that kind of threat before from upset motorists, so I just nodded. "Have a nice day, sir. Please move your vehicle immediately." As I walked away, I heard him announce to his audience, "Don't go anywhere, Prank Nation. You're about to witness the beginning of the greatest takedown in Tyler Toxic history." Man, if I'd known what was coming, I might have called in sick that day. I thought that would be the end of it. People get citations, they get mad, they move on. But Tyler? Nah, that dude was on another level of petty. I was grabbing lunch at this little taco truck near the station the next day when my phone started blowing up. Texts from friends, family, even my ex from 3 years ago who'd moved to Portland. All of them sending me the same link to some video titled, "Power-Tripping Cop Harasses Innocent Creator for No Reason, Must Watch." I clicked the link and nearly choked on my carnitas. This guy had edited our interaction to make it look like I'd rolled up out of nowhere and immediately started threatening him. He'd cut out all the parts where I explained why he was getting cited and added in these dramatic zooms on my face with these cartoon steam effects coming out of my ears. The worst part? The video already had like 2 million views. 2 million. And the comment section was a dumpster fire of people saying they should find out where I lived and teach me a lesson. I called my sergeant immediately. "Sarge, we've got a situation." "Yeah, I just got out of a meeting with the captain about it. This is a mess, Baker. Turns out the chief had already gotten about 100 calls from angry internet warriors demanding I be fired, tarred, and feathered. The department's social media accounts were being flooded with hate comments, and someone had even started a petition to have me removed from the force. The good news, my sergeant said, is we've got your body cam footage that shows what really happened. The department's releasing a statement and the unedited footage later today. That was something at least, but the damage was already spreading like wildfire. I headed back to the station, and as I was walking through the parking lot, this black Dodge Charger with tinted windows pulled up beside me. The window rolled down, and there was Tyler with his camera filming me again. Officer Baker, how does it feel to be the most hated cop on the internet right now? I kept walking. Mr. Reed, I suggest you leave the premises. Or what? You gonna arrest me for asking questions? He was baiting me, trying to get a reaction he could use for more content. Have a nice day, sir. I went inside, my blood pressure probably through the roof. Later that night, I was sitting in my apartment, scrolling through the comments section of the department's body cam release post. The full footage clearly showed I'd been professional, and that Tyler was the one causing the disturbance, but his fans were still out in force, claiming the footage was edited or that I'd still overreacted. I was about to shut my laptop when my doorbell rang. Strange. It was almost 11 p.m. I checked through the peephole but didn't see anyone. When I opened the door, there was a pizza delivery guy heading back to his car. Hey, I didn't order any pizza, I called out. He turned around looking confused. Delivery for Baker at this address. Someone ordered 20 pizzas, all paid for with a big tip. 20 pizzas? There must be some mistake. The guy shrugged. Not my problem, man. They're paid for. He got in his car and drove off, leaving me standing there with 3 pizzas he'd already dropped off. And that was just the beginning. Update. Hey Reddit, thanks for all the support on this story so far. I never expected this to blow up like it did. Some of you have asked if I tried to get a restraining order at this point. Trust me, that thought crossed my mind. But this was just the tip of the iceberg, and things were about to get way more intense. What would you have done if you were in my shoes when you realized this internet personality was just getting started with his revenge campaign? For the next 3 days, my apartment was bombarded with deliveries I never ordered. Chinese food, flowers, plumbing services, even a clown for a kid's birthday party. Someone, and I had a pretty good idea who, had posted my address and phone number online and encouraged people to prank me. My phone was blowing up with calls from random numbers, people either breathing heavily or laughing or just straight up sigh, threatening me. I had to get a new number, which was a major pain considering how many places had my contact info. The worst part was when I got home from work one day and found my door spray painted with the words "Tyrant Pig" in bright red. That was the last straw. I filed a police report and talked to my sergeant about the harassment. This has gone too far, I told him. I need to press charges against Tyler Reed. Sarge nodded. The chief's already looking into it. In the meantime, we're gonna move you to desk duty for a few weeks until this blows over, for your own safety. Desk duty. Perfect. Just what I wanted. To be stuck filing paperwork while this jerk continued his social media crusade against me. The department released another statement, condemning the harassment and warning that anyone participating could face criminal charges. But by then, Tyler had posted another video titled, "Cop Who Harassed Me Is Facing Consequences, Justice Served," where he basically took credit for getting me demoted, which wasn't even true, but his followers ate it up. While I was drowning in paperwork at the station, I got a visit from a detective from our cybercrime unit. "Officer Baker, we've been monitoring the situation with this Tyler Reed character," Detective Morgan said, sitting down at my desk. "He's actually got quite a record of complaints against him for his pranks. Nothing that stuck so far, but this pattern of harassment could be what finally gets him." "So what's the plan?" I asked. "We're building a case, but we need more evidence. If he contacts you again or escalates, document everything." I didn't have to wait long. That weekend, I was at the grocery store grabbing some essentials when I spotted a familiar yellow hoodie at the end of the aisle. Tyler was there with his camera guy, pretending to shop while obviously following me. I ignored them and went about my business. But when I got to the checkout, Tyler approached me with his camera in my face. "Officer Baker, fancy running into you here? How's desk duty treating you?" I didn't respond, just kept unloading my cart. Nothing to say? No apology for harassing an innocent content creator? My followers want to know. The store manager noticed what was happening and came over. "Sir, you can't film in here without permission. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Tyler turned his camera to the manager. "Oh look, another authority figure trying to silence me. This is America, man, free speech." "This is private property," the manager replied calmly. "And you're disturbing customers. Please leave before I call the police." "Already got one right here," Tyler laughed, pointing at me. "Fat lot of good that does." I finished paying for my groceries and headed for the exit. Tyler followed me into the parking lot, still filming and shouting questions. As I was loading my bags into my car, a patrol car pulled into the lot and 2 officers got out. The store manager must have called them after all. "Is there a problem? Here?" one of the officers asked. Tyler immediately switched to innocent mode. "No problem at all, officers. Just trying to have a conversation with Officer Baker here. Public space, First Amendment, all that good stuff." The officers looked at me. I nodded slightly. "Mr. Reed," one officer said, "we've received complaints about you following and harassing Officer Baker. We'd advise you to keep your distance." Tyler's face darkened. "Are you threatening me?" "Just giving you some friendly advice," the officer replied. "Have a nice day." As they escorted me to my car, Tyler called after me, "This isn't over, Baker, not by a long shot!" And man, he wasn't kidding. The next day, I was at the station when I got an unexpected visitor. A young woman asked to speak with me at the front desk. When I came out, she seemed nervous, constantly looking over her shoulder. "Officer Baker, my name's Madison. I used to be friends with Tyler Reed." That got my attention real quick. "Used to be," she nodded. "We had a falling out a few months ago when his pranks started getting more extreme. The stuff he's doing to you? He's done it before to other people who got in his way, but this time he's taking it even further." "What do you mean?" Madison pulled out her phone and showed me a private Instagram story that Tyler had posted for his close friends only, which apparently still included Madison. "Tonight we're taking Operation Cop Takedown to the next level," Tyler said in the video, standing in what looked like his apartment. "Got a little party planned with some special guests and supplies. By the time we're done, Officer Baker won't have a badge to hide behind anymore." The camera panned to a table covered with what looked suspiciously like drugs and alcohol, along with printouts of my face and some kind of crude map. "He's planning something at his place tonight," Madison said. "A big party with a bunch of influencers and followers. I thought you should know." "Why are you telling me this?" I asked her. "Because someone's going to get hurt if Tyler keeps escalating like this. He doesn't care about consequences anymore. He just wants views." I thanked Madison for the tip and immediately went to Detective Morgan with the information. Within an hour, we had a search warrant for Tyler's apartment based on the video evidence and Madison's statement. The timing couldn't have been better. When the raid team hit Tyler's apartment that evening, the party was in full swing. The place was packed, with people, many of them filming everything for their social media accounts. And just as Madison had said, there were drugs everywhere, mostly weed and pills, but also some harder stuff. Tyler himself was holding court in the living room, apparently explaining to his guests how they were going to ruin me when the doors burst open and officers flooded in. I wasn't part of the raid team, but I heard later that the look on Tyler's face when he realized what was happening was priceless. "Tyler Reed, you're under arrest for possession of controlled substances, conspiracy to commit harassment, and inciting criminal activity," the lead detective announced while Tyler was being cuffed. "This is bogus," Tyler shouted as they led him. "I'm being framed. This is police retaliation." But the evidence was overwhelming. Not only did they find the drugs, but Tyler's apartment was like a command center for his harassment campaign against me. Printouts of my personal information, scripts for his fake videos, even some of my mail that had been stolen from my apartment building. The best part? Most of Tyler's guests had live-streamed the entire raid, so his humiliation was broadcast to the world in real time by his own followers. Update. Wow, I can't believe how many of you are following this story. A lot of you have asked about what kinds of charges Tyler ended up facing. I'll get into that, but first I want to say how surreal it was watching everything unfold from the sidelines. One minute I'm being harassed by this guy with millions of followers, and the next he's being led away in handcuffs while his friends stream it live. But here's the real question that kept me up at night. If someone with that much influence could target me, a police officer, what chance does a regular person have against this kind of online mob justice? The days after Tyler's arrest were intense. His hardcore followers were convinced this was all a setup, while mainstream media picked up the story as an example of influencer culture gone wrong. My face was suddenly everywhere, from local news to national morning shows. The department assigned me a media liaison to handle the interview requests, and the chief suggested I lay low for a couple weeks. I took some vacation time and crashed at my buddy Mike's lake cabin up near Bellingham. No internet, no cell service, just peace and quiet while the storm raged. When I finally emerged and checked my phone, I had about 1,000 notifications, but also a message from Detective Morgan. "Evidence from Reed's apartment uncovered more than we expected. Need you to come in." I drove straight to the station, where Morgan and the DA were waiting with a stack of evidence folders. "Officer Baker," the DA greeted me, "I just wanted you to know that we filed multiple charges against Mr. Reed. Beyond the drug possession, we've got criminal harassment, stalking, inciting violence, identity theft, mail theft, and conspiracy." Was stunned. "Identity theft," Morgan nodded. "We found credit card applications in your name. He was planning to run up debt in your name and ruin your credit." "And that's not all," the DA continued. His phone and laptop contained evidence of similar harassment campaigns against at least 3 other people who'd crossed him in the past. A barista who asked him not to film in a coffee shop, a teacher who'd given him detention years ago, and an ex-girlfriend. "None of those people had your resources," Morgan added. "They just had to move or change their names or jobs. Tyler Reed has been getting away with this behavior for years." The DA looked grim. "Mr. Reed was offered a plea deal, but he rejected it. Believes his fans will save him. His lawyer quit this morning. 2 weeks later, I was back on patrol duty, though the department had me on a different beat for a while. The trial was scheduled for the following month, and I was the star witness. The courtroom was packed on the first day. Tyler had shown up in a suit that looked like it cost more than my monthly salary, flanked by a new lawyer who had the slick appearance of someone who normally defended celebrities, but all the designer clothes and legal talent in the world couldn't help when the prosecution started laying out their evidence: the body cam footage, the harassment videos, the drugs and stolen mail found in his apartment, testimony from Madison and other former friends about Tyler's pattern of targeted harassment. Tyler himself took the stand, trying to paint himself as a misunderstood artist who was being persecuted for his controversial content. But the prosecutor tore his story apart, piece by piece. "Mr. Reed, you've described yourself as a prankster and an entertainer. Would you consider publishing someone's home address and encouraging your followers to harass them to be entertainment?" Tyler squirmed. "I never explicitly told anyone to harass Officer Baker." The prosecutor pulled up a screenshot from one of Tyler's videos where he clearly said, "This cop needs to learn a lesson. You know what to do, Prank Nation." By the end of the trial, even some of Tyler's die-hard fans in the gallery were looking uncomfortable. The jury deliberated for less than 5 hours before returning a guilty verdict on most of the charges. The judge didn't hold back at sentencing. "Mr. Reed, you've weaponized your considerable online influence to target and terrorize individuals who did nothing more than enforce rules that apply to everyone. This court sentences you to 2 years in state prison, followed by 3 years of probation during which you are prohibited from posting on social media platforms." Tyler's face went white. "You can't ban me from social media. That's my livelihood." "You should have considered that before you used that livelihood as a weapon," the judge replied coldly. As Tyler was led away, our eyes met briefly. The hatred there was still burning bright, but it didn't matter anymore. He couldn't hurt me or anyone else for a good long while. The aftermath was swift. Tyler's Tyler Toxic brand collapsed almost overnight. His sponsors dropped him, his accounts lost followers by the thousands, and other influencers distanced themselves from him. The story became a cautionary tale about internet fame and accountability. As for me, I got a commendation from the department and eventually a promotion to sergeant. The chief asked me to help develop new training protocols for officers dealing with social media personalities and online harassment. I even did a few speaking engagements at police academies about my experience. 6 months after the trial, I was patrolling Volunteer Park again on another beautiful spring day. As I passed the spot where I'd first encountered Tyler, I saw a young guy with a camera filming himself doing some harmless dance routine. When he noticed me approaching, he immediately stopped and looked nervous. "Am I breaking any rules, officer?" he asked. I smiled. "Not that I can see. Just keep the pathways clear and you're good to go." The relief on his face was obvious. "Thanks. Hey, aren't you that cop from the Tyler Toxic case?" I nodded. "One and the same." "Man, that was wild," he said, shaking his head. "Changed how a lot of us approach content creation. Made us realize there's a line, you know?" "Good to hear," I replied. "So what kind of content do you make?" "Educational stuff, mostly. Science experiments, history facts, that kind of thing." "Nothing crazy," I gave him a thumbs up. "Keep it up then. The world needs more of that." As I continued my patrol, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. Tyler had tried to destroy my life for a citation that was completely justified. Instead, he'd lost everything while I'd come out stronger. And maybe, just maybe, the whole ordeal had made a small positive change in influencer culture. Justice doesn't always go viral, but when it does, it's one heck of a view. Update. And that's it, folks. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride. I know some of you think I should have gone easier on Tyler, while others think he got off too lightly. In the years since this all went down, I've had time to reflect on what happened. The internet can be an incredible force for good, but it can also become a weapon in the wrong hands. I still patrol that same park sometimes, and occasionally people recognize me as that cop from the Tyler Toxic case. But the question I still wonder about is this. If you suddenly found yourself with the power to influence millions, what kind of impact would you choose to make?